All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar titled Preserving Physical and Mental Wellness as a Relocating Spouse. This is presented by Ruchika Behel, who is a certified integrative nutrition health coach and a pistachio mentor. So, I want to first start off by just telling who I am. I'm the founder and chief relocating spouse of We Are Pistachio, a relocating spouse like many of you, and really started this community just to bring like-minded relocating spouses together. And in my journey, I was fortunate to meet Ruchika, and I want to really, because we're talking about preserving physical and mental wellness in relocation, and I happened to meet Ruchika serendipitously as I was relocating from Singapore to the US. And there is a reason. And when I look back, I think my relocation from Singapore to US was one of my smoothest. And I can say that it was because Ruchika was right by my side in that transition, helping me not just, you know, understand all the roller coaster of emotions that I was going through, but also reminding me not to rely on food as a crutch and to numb those emotions, and just guiding me through this overwhelming world of groceries in the US, and you know helping me through the transition. So I think we've known each other now for 5 years.
5 years.
We have never met in person. Never. And we have long, I think for the last 4 years, we have dreamed and schemed that one day we would get together and bring a webinar like this. Uh,
Absolutely.
and we realized, because both of us are relocating spouses, and I'm going to let obviously Roshika talk a little bit more about herself, but we realized that nobody is talking about these things. Nobody is speaking about how do you preserve your physical and mental wellness as a relocating spouse. So thank you, Ruchika, for always supporting me in my personal journey, but also in the journey at Pistachio.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you so much for the generous introduction. But it's true, I met Aditi really in 2015, and we've kind of had a lot of common dreams together. I met her initially as a client, but today we kind of work side by side because both of us are equally passionate about bringing in topics to the world which no one's speaking about. And both of us have this relocating spouses is a nerve that's kind of part of our lives, and it's defined who we are today.
Absolutely. So if you want to move to the next slide, Ruchika, I want to quickly talk about who we are, and I won't spend a lot of time, but we are really a global membership community of, for, and by relocating spouses. So we are built, this community is built by relocating spouses, and we're focusing on empowering relocating spouses navigate this adventure. And we provide opportunities to connect through a Facebook private community, opportunities to learn something like this webinar, and grow your knowledge and your expertise as well. And ultimately, we realized that when we were coming up with this community, is that our promise truly is that no relocating spouse is ever alone. And the name, why are we called pistachio? It's just, you can see it on the slide, just like a pistachio nut. The shell is open. It's known as a happy nut in China. We're global. We're also tough. And I love the last one because we're nutty. Like, who moves to a place where they've never been, without a career, and without friends? So with that, I hand this over to you, Ruchika. Again, thank you for on behalf of our entire team at We Are Pistachio for being here today.
Thank you, Aditi. And this is a painting that I painted. I'm not a painter, but this is a painting, and I really want to kind of share the story behind the painting. This is a painting of the 18 different homes that I've lived in. And you heard it right, 18 different homes I've lived in since birth, pretty much, out of which I think I should have counted them, but I think about 14 of them were after I got married. So, as a relocating spouse, I'm hoping what I share with you is going to be inspirational for you to take charge of your wellness, whether you're still relocating or you're midst a relocation or you just moved to a new place. So, hopefully, what I share is really inspirational and helps you want to do something about it. So as I said, I moved 8 times in 11 years of being married. I'm married 20 years now, but I've been very, very privileged to call Houston my home for the last 9 years now. I'm extremely privileged because I live here with my family, 2 kids, 2 teenagers, which I'm really thankful for. I don't have to homeschool them right now. They're able to do their own tasks. My spouse works here and I live with a rescue dog. I don't know if you can see him, but if I kind of move my camera, you might be able to see him like right there. I don't know. So I live here, and more than that, I'm really humbled and I feel privileged because I'm able to live a life that makes me wake up with a purpose, makes me wake up with wanting to be alive on a daily basis. And it wasn't always so, not the alive part, but the passion part. So, there were many years when I was moving, and even when I relocated to Houston, just like Aditi and just like all the relocating spouses know, I would be in this constant settling the rest of the family mode, forgetting what my needs were. And I've had very deep, dark moments where I have had emotional outbursts in front of absolute, complete strangers. And it kind of reminded me, moving has reminded me that while I can be very low and deep and dark in spots, but if I put my energies together, I can come out of it. So I'm really, really thankful for the life that I get to live today, which is as an integrative nutrition health coach. And what I mean by integrative nutrition is that I don't just look at food as nutrition. It's really everything else that feeds you, that nourishes you on a mind level, body level, cellular level. So it's the thoughts you think, it's the food that you eat, it's the movement that you add in your body. And those are the tools that I use in my coaching practice. I have supported many relocating spouses who have successfully relocated, but in the process, for one reason or the other, haven't ended up with lifestyles that have been best to support their health or their feeling vibrant on a daily basis, whether they were feeling alone or there could be multiple reasons. And when I say relocation, I really want, and some of you might be listening to this webinar who might think, oh, we've never moved in our life, or we just moved cities. This doesn't apply to me. But what I can tell you, what I'm going to speak for the next maybe 15, 20 minutes is going to apply to everybody who's gone through some transition in life. And relocation is just one of those transitions. It's the point, it's the little rope that's hanging between point A and point B. It's that no man's land when you are, it's that transition. That's what it is. And that is true for all for all transitions. So the intention of this virtual gathering is really to understand why relocating spouses struggle with mental and physical health issues. What can you do? And in the end, as Aditi said, use whatever tools you have to connect and find support. Because you're not doing this alone, know that. And there are people who've done it before you, and there are people who will do it after you. So whether you can connect to get support or connect to mentor somebody, find a way. So hopefully everyone can see my screen. So this is something that we had posted in the Facebook group VR Pistachio, and feeling alone was the number one reason why people feel that they struggle with mental and physical health issues. Always settling kids at home, not being able to prioritize themselves, missing friends, lack of consistent healthcare provider, variety of contradictory nutritional information. This was huge for me, and this is what really initiated me to get into being a nutritional coach, because I wanted to empower myself to really know what is the right information. I love this one. Why struggle? Let's make the most of it, which is a great attitude. And I'm going to speak about it in a minute. So before we kind of go into the details of what can we do to preserve wellness during a relocating time or while we are in a new place, we have to understand, and this is not me making it up, this is true statistics, that the top 5 most stressful life events include moving. Moving is in the top 5. So death of a loved one being the one, divorce being number 2, and moving being number 3. So if moving is such a stressful event, if moving is a challenge, it should not be taken so lightly. Both physically and mentally, it's a challenge. After all the time that you support, you invest in moving, it's not a walk in the park. So let's talk about stress, because since it's of the top 5 stressors, it's number 3 on the top 5 stressors. So when you're talking of stress, we kind of think of stress as usually a bad thing. Would you agree? Like, does stress have a negative connotation? Stress is really a body's reaction to any change, and positive life changes also bring about stress in the body. So the problem is not stress. The problem is being in a chronic, constant state of stress. It's almost become a cliche that, modern life is so fraught with stress that almost no one has time to deal with it. It's one of my favorite ways to explain stress. Like, everyone's too stressed to deal with stress. Everyone's too busy to deal with stress. And it can be an easy excuse to really, sometimes not address it. But again, we have, as I said, there's a positive stress. So if you're running a marathon, your body is stressed, but that's positive stress because it's wanting and it's making you do a bit more. But this chronic stress, whether you're anticipating a move, or you've just newly moved to a place, or you're trying to make life comfortable for your family, that chronic, constant state of stress is what starts damaging the body. And if you look to the right of my screen, it'll just give you some ideas of the health problems that can occur if stress response goes on for too long or becomes chronic. With chronic stress, the body or with any stress for that matter, the body releases a stress hormone called cortisol. And a little amount of cortisol is a good thing because it truly helps you fight a difficult situation. It's what's called, it supports you in your fight or flight mode. But constantly being in that fight or flight mode, as if you're running from a tiger, impairs your parasympathetic nervous system, which is really here to do your rest, rebuild, digestion, and all those things start getting impacted. So as I said, with the chronic stress, the same things that are life-saving for you become self-destructing. It can suppress your immune system, particularly true for this time. So if you're in a chronic state of stress, think about how your immune system gets impacted, your digestive health gets impacted, sleep, reproductive cycle. Many systems stop working normally. So stress is really the underlying reason why people are unable to thrive after multiple moves for one reason or the other. And again, different people feel stressed differently. If you get stressed news, a news that stresses you, you might get a belly hurt or you might get a headache. So stress is processed very differently by different people. And it doesn't change the body's response, but it really truly is just your personal response. It doesn't make it less or more, but it's just your own response. So what happens is, the other thing is that we have to understand is that the everyday issues that people often struggle with, whether it's as severe as something like an autoimmunity, blood sugar issues, thyroid issues, blood pressure issues, the underlying cause is often stress. So now that we know that stress plays such a huge part in our well-being, what can we do about it? So let me find a good place to put this. So our mental health is our relationship with our physical being. And that's vice versa too. So what you put in your body physically reflects in your mental health, and what you put in terms of your thoughts, what you do, it really impacts your physical health. So both are very interconnected. One is not, you can't have amazing mental health, but poor physical health, or vice versa. I haven't met an individual that it works, and I've worked with a lot of people over the years, a lot of relocating spouses over the years. So what you put in to the physical body, your body is going to mirror back at you. So really the body mirrors the work that we've done all these years. The physical, the emotional, the spiritual work, that's the work will prepare your body to really be able to handle the curveballs that are thrown at you. Again, very, 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 very appropriate for this time that we are in, right? It's not somebody's immune system that's broken down. It's the work that we've done all these years to really have that robust immune system. So there are a couple of non-negotiables that's I feel nobody should neglect, whether you're moving, whether you're stressed, whether you're in your deepest, lowest moments. But I would appreciate and I would really encourage you all to create your own non-negotiable, something that you will do consistently. For me, number one is consistently eating nourishing meals. So whether it is life is good, or I am sad, or I'm going through a very difficult time, I like to prioritize eating healthy. And I'm not saying eating healthy 100% at the time. My meals don't look like this 100% of the time, but 80-20, or find a number that works for you, but create as a non-negotiable. When you have a number attached to it, it is very likely that you will end up doing it. The second thing is move your body. Move your body with intention, move your body functionally, move your body to really because you value it and not to punish it. So really move your body with the idea to feel good, but not as a punishment. Because I ate something, I need to punish my body, kind of a thing. So definitely focus on movement. The third one that I'd really like to prioritize is sleep. There's so many people who do not prioritize sleep. And again, in my health coaching practice, what I see is that it's the lack of good quality, deep sleep at the right time with the circadian rhythm leads to a lot of health issues. It could be digestive issues, it could be stress, anxiety. Just remember this, that we are circadian beings and we are designed to sleep when the sunlight is down. So if you're trying to wake up, keep awake through the midnight hours or past midnight, your body is losing the opportunity to rebuild, repair, regenerate, detoxify, what it's designed to do basically. So the best sleep that you get is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's when the majority of the housekeeping tasks happen. So if you're skipping that time, you're kind of missing out on that quality work that the body is designed to do. And the fourth one, again, this is something that I have prioritized over the years, and I really feel that everybody should give it a thought, is finding a creative expression. And this is a very elaborate creative expression going on right here. It doesn't have to be pottery, wheeling or something. It could be just taking nature photography. It could be taking food photos. It could be going back old school and learning some knitting. It could be anything, but find a creative expression. And find creativity in everything that you do. It is very, very foundational to our existence and to our well-being, expressing creativity on a daily basis. For me, even cooking unique meals or putting unique bowls together is a creative expression. So find some creativity in everything that you do. But these are my non-negotiables. This is how I like to explain non-negotiables as. Pretty much this is foundational stuff, but I would encourage you to find your non-negotiables from what is available. What is it that you want to do and you will do consistently, daily, every day, irrespective of what life throws at you. This is an analogy I like to kind of give. De-stress as often as you brush your teeth. And again, I'm presuming that most of us brush our teeth twice a day. So the reason is that this binge and purge approach to stress management doesn't work. It should be totally avoided. A lot of people think, let me binge on the stress. I have this high intensity work going on, project going on, deadline coming. Let me get this done. Let me get through the move. And then I'll make time for de-stressing. The body doesn't function like that. So definitely de-stress on a daily basis as often as you brush your teeth. And I'm saying 2 times, but I definitely encourage more times. The best approach is to the most effective ways to handle stress in the moment, or at least daily. So find a meditation practice, chanting, deep breathing, whatever works for you. Laughter is a great medicine. If you find a laughing community, find ways to laugh, watching comedy, whatever that might be for you. Journaling is another amazing practice. I have seen miracles happen in my practice when people have utilized journaling as a tool. Um, don't undermine the capacity of putting your thoughts, putting your worries, putting even your wins in a notebook on a piece of paper. I usually say when you're journaling, do it without judgment. So don't go back with the intent, don't write with the intention of that you'll go back and read it. So it just creates a safe space for you to be able to download what's going on. The fourth one is using aromas. Again, aromas have been used traditionally to manage moods, to manage stress, to really use as stress relieving for the stress relieving properties. But it's a very simple science. When we take in the aroma, when we breathe in through the olfactory system, it's directly connected to what's the emotional processing center, the amygdala in our brain. So when you're kind of constantly using aromas to create a mood or use as a stress reliever, your body gets trained to be able to de-stress every now and then, rather than, again, using that binge and purge approach as I spoke about. The fourth thing, I don't know if it's the fourth one, but probably it is the third one actually. Find ways to fill your life with purpose. For me, it was really redefining who I was as I moved through. For the initial years, I kind of stuck through wanting to be an HR specialist, and I kind of recertified myself, worked a bit, tried to find remote work, but it wasn't easy. And then as I started spending more time with me and understood the new me who I had become, I was able to find a career in a suitcase. It's interesting. Once I found a career in a suitcase, we never moved after that or haven't moved since. But find a career in a suitcase, especially if relocation is the truth of your life, and you're relocating for whatever the reason might be. It has to be a good reason, right? If it's a family decision, it could be anything. Find something that you can bring along with you in a suitcase. And I'm not going to throw ideas here, because by giving you ideas, I'm going to restrict your thinking. But really, sit down with yourself and think about what relocation has taught you. Uh, each one of us has learned something or struggle with something, and how can you make that your life's purpose? How can you really make that a part of your life? And what careers kind of go along with that? Just a picture here right now is a lady using photography as a tool, and it could be a career in a suitcase. It could be her expression of creativity, but it can also be a way of documenting the different moves that she does. So find a way. The second way is volunteering, and I was thriving on volunteering the first 11 years. I'll be truthful. I volunteered a lot for different organizations. I volunteered for the school. I volunteered for different places. It made me feel more useful than just settling, resettling, packing, unpacking, finding a home, finding a school, organizing play dates. And I'm not saying that those are small tasks, but it was not enough to fill me up. Again, there's no task that's small, but find something that fills you up. Consciously think of something that fills you up. I cannot say how important it is for everybody, especially when you're relocating, especially when you're going through transition. As we said right at the beginning, when we are in transition, we find different ways to numb our emotions, and food being one of them. Numbing the emotion is not the idea. Feeling it is the idea, because when you feel it, just like when Aditi felt it, you're able to do or fill your life with purpose and meaning on a daily basis. And that's what we want to do at the end of it, right? We want to be alive with meaning and purpose on a daily basis. If you don't know what else to do, just take up a new course. Yale is offering a course on science of being happy. To a new course. Coursera has tons of online courses. Find a new skill that you've wanted to learn. Maybe you've never wanted to learn. Maybe you've never thought about it. Maybe the guitar, maybe it could be anything. Learn something. When we learn something new, we are in that growth mindset, which is a positive emotion for the body. When you are growing, it is hard to be very low and in the worst of your emotions, if that's what's kind of something that's you struggled with during your relocations. I hope I'm staying good with time. Yeah. So this is extremely important. Stay connected, whether you find a physical community or a platform like We Are Pistachio, or use technology for staying connected, but find a community. And when I say find a community, I mean, as I said right at the beginning, mentor in a community, find support in a community, check in with the community, and make sure that you do it consistently. Now, I really don't know if this is, what happens with frequent movers, and this might not be true for you, but I have seen a lot of people, including myself, when you move very frequently, you are more likely to discard relationships in the first place. I don't know if it because you move so much and you accept the transient nature of life. It's sometimes hard to get completely connected. So make a very, very deliberate attempt at connecting. And again, every place that you go to might not have a relocating spouses group, but We Are Pistachio is a great community for that reason. It is really for us, while Aditi has the founder and the chief relocating spouse of this community, but I truly think it is for all of us to find what we are here to find in there and give back what we have. So that's how that's the ecology of it, really. This is my favorite slide. I love the gems. I don't know if you like them, but that's two different gems. And really, this is my mantra for myself. This is my mantra for my kids, and everything that I do, the intention is pick up the gems. Don't try and I'm going to speak to you specifically as a relocating spouse, and maybe you have kids and maybe you don't, but don't try and make the move perfect for your family. It is not your job. Don't be afraid to disappoint your kids, your spouse, if things don't turn out completely. You cannot get that complete normalcy in week 1 of the move. It is not your job. So what I often find is that women specifically really take it upon themselves of making the move as seamless as possible. They almost make it a bragging conversation. This move was seamless for my family. Week 1, we were having play dates. My kids were accepted into school system. We've been throwing gatherings at our home, whatever that might be. Don't take it upon yourself to make it perfect. Moving is a transition. Go through the process as you're meant to go through it. Don't be afraid of disappointing yourself or your kids. And I think it's often taking that load that breaks people down, that breaks women down when they are going through that transition, because they really take upon a lot of responsibility of making it perfect, of having it absolutely seamless. So this is something that I often say: memories are not always how things happen. It is how we remember. So as you're going through moves, because you're trying to make it perfect, you are thinking of creating perfect memories, but you can change the memories. If you focus on the gems of what you learned something different, or how you slept on an airbed for 3 months because your shipment was delayed, and how you were in a service apartment for an endless time period, make those memories count as well. Don't try and you are relocating. It's a choice you've made as a family. Don't try and completely shun it and say, we will have this seamless life where the moves will not be registered, and moves are a part of your life. Is the truth. Might as well pick up the gems, and every situation, every life opportunity offers some gems. So that is what really is. If you want to kind of take the questions now, or I will finish, this is just an opportunity to schedule a 20-minute no-fee wellness strategy session. You can email me right here. You can connect me on Facebook at Nourish Your Life 1 is my Facebook page. and on Instagram, it's Nourish Your Life. I do try and share inspirational stuff. I do try and share information that makes healthy living, nourished living simple and sustainable.